All right, I'm gonna try to attempt to make a quick tutorial. So the first thing I want you guys to do is upload your image using a bleed line. I'm gonna check yes, press cancel because it'll leave the bleeds in a specific color, green. Now I wanna name this layer, it's layer 2 right now. I'm gonna hit these 3 buttons, rename layer. I'm gonna call this the bleed. And then I'm gonna press OK. Now I'm gonna make, so you'll see number 2 is bleed. Number 1, I'm gonna add an image in here. I was practicing drawing a kitty. Let me see here, there's the kitty. I'm gonna press check OK, and then we have cancel. So I have my cat right here, but I'm gonna need to move him around, so I'm gonna use this pointer tool. I'm gonna scooch him up to the top of the screen over here. Okay, now I'm gonna press OK. I'm gonna name this layer cat. Rename this layer C-A-T. Okay. Now I'm gonna make number 1 my drawing layer. I'm going to call it sketch. Now, I've already gone ahead and I've used these brushes already. So I watched a video to get them for free for a few hours, and I'm going to look for pencil. I like things that have a bleed in them. Here, basic watercolor brush. All right, I like using those. You don't have to. But for the sake of my sketch, I'm going to use this color that I chose. Make sure it's all the way to high opacity. I'm going to look at this cat's cute, adorable face, and I'm going to make a quick sketch. Now I'm just going to say this is the cat's face, and I'm going to make sure that I can move it around a little bit so that I have enough room for the ears. I think that'll be good right now. Now I'm gonna continue to draw. I saw this cat at the mall and felt that. And then over here we have, now remember when I told you guys it's okay to make mistakes, leave them in? This would be the layer that you're gonna leave your mistakes in. When you get into inking, that's when you're gonna go in and you're gonna fine tune some stuff. So I'm gonna make his nose a little square, my area over here like that. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna move him down a little bit. So he's on his own layer, right? I'm on sketch layer, cat's on a different layer. And I'm gonna just say this ear is gonna point like that because you don't wanna draw in a tangent. I'm not gonna do the entire body, I'm just gonna do the essence, like right there. He's so goofy. Let's make a new layer. I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna call this one, this is the sketch layer. I want it above, or it just so happens it's above the other layer. I'm gonna name this one ink. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pick a different brush. Let's call this brush ink, I-N-K. Basic ink pen, that seems good. Let's try it out. You know, there's so many different pens that you can choose from. You figure out which one works best for you. Maybe I'll do digital pen, why not? It might be a little pixeled. So since I'm in this ink, I'm going to change it to black. And this is where you can start correcting your mistakes. So over here, I'm going to zoom in on this cat, and I'm going to just basically ink him in really quickly. All right. And then over here, I'm going to make sure he looks like he's up to something, and I'm here for it. I'm going to go over these areas and change things around. You know, maybe instead of having that wide face, I'm just gonna turn him into a really thin, narrow face. Now, the other thing you can do is if you don't like something, you can go back or forth. You can also double tap with 2 fingers, your pointer finger and your middle finger. So I'm going backwards this way. The next thing I'm going to do is, so yeah, we're just going to say that that's the ink layer. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that original sketch layer that I did, and I'm going to make it go disappear. See, now we have our drawing. We can fine tune it. So I don't like that there's a missing area over here, so I'm going to fix it. And then I don't like that the ear area over there, and then I'm going to erase a few areas that are popping out. You can change the size of your eraser. So I'm just going to try to carefully go in here and erase and fine-tune a few areas. Now I might want to add just like a teeny tiny amount of color. I don't want to do it on my sketch layer or on my ink layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I want that to be under the other layer. I just dragged and dropped it, and I'm going to call it color. Okay, and then I'm going to switch over to a different color. I like this purple I just made a while back. I'm going to change my brush to an airbrush if I can find one. Here's an airbrush. Now I'm just going to say, I'm going to tap on it a little bit over here. I'm going to tap on it a little bit over here. And then I'm going to switch back to a different brush. Marker. Now let's make sure how big is, yeah, you want to check your brush out. You can always make mistakes and erase them. It's really easy to do so over here. But when it comes to drawing, I find that it's better to start with a sketch and then make your erasing marks. In fact, I think I can go in here now and make a bucket and then, yep, just tap on it, go back to my brush and clean it up a little bit. Now I'm just gonna go over here, check out that purple. I'm gonna leave the opacity like that. And I think I'm just gonna change my brush around to something like, I don't know, just play around watercolor point. That looks cool. All right, we're just gonna, oops. We don't wanna draw over that layer that we just made, so I'm gonna make a new one. Under the color layer, you know, name them. Make sure you touch those 3 lines. All right, if I go under, see, it changes the way things look. So if I was gonna go over here, I'd say, look, let's just do this over here. I really like those eyes. Now I changed so that I don't have the eyedropper, but if I go into my settings over here, I'm gonna turn the quick dropper on for a second, and I'm gonna hold down on that image. And I like that color, so I'm gonna use that color. But I'm gonna go over here. I'm just gonna kind of color in over, and you know, you can tighten this up and, you know, you can erase those things, make them look prettier. I don't like keeping that eyedropper on because sometimes when you're drawing, it'll just pick up the color white, and that can be quite confusing. All right, now let's export this. Before I have that quick reference drawing over there, I'm gonna hide that. For right now, that's my image. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to export it. So I'm gonna go here, save my image, save it, don't save it as a PNG, save it as a JPEG. And then press OK. Now let's just double check. Photos, boom, there's my image. And then if you want to upload it to Blackboard, you know what to do.